This week on Under NDA.
This sounds like a terrible idea. Like
Okay.
22 people at a table with liquor on fire.
Open flames.
Yeah. So he went to go shoot it back, not realizing it was on fire, burned his lips, and he threw the shot glass. And so it was full of this like lit ouzo, and it actually set the tablecloth on fire. But everyone freaked out because it was on fire. So they like dropped their shots. And the next thing, the entire table was on fire. And they had to evacuate the restaurant. Hello, Woody. I'm very excited for this end-of-year episode of Under NDA. We've been talking about this one for a while.
Yes, we
ending
have.
the year with a fantastic episode about mishaps that happen at holiday parties. What a way to end 2025, huh?
Indeed. We've been talking about this one for a while, and I think we've been definitely very excited to get to this one. So been compiling stories over the last few months. Had a couple submitted in the last few weeks that were just standout stories. So looking forward to digging into it with you.
Yeah, really very thankful for the community who responded with some really great stories that we can highlight in this episode.
Yes.
Just, Woody, maybe you want to talk a little bit about sort of the framing of this, because I think it's a really interesting perspective on the holiday party woes.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm sure as many have experienced that are listening, there was kind of the COVID pullback on everything related to going into office and by extension, holiday parties. And now we're starting to see holiday parties come back, which is exciting. But it also signals that maybe folks have forgotten some of the challenges and perils that come with these holiday parties, these company holiday parties. So we're going to shine a light on that today and consider it a warning for those that might be going to attend. just heads up. Lessons learned.
Yeah, especially the youngins who have never actually experienced a holiday party.
Yes.
It is funny. There's my friend Laura Palmer, who I will tag in our posts. She and I were messaging about this. I will never forget the company we worked at together before the holiday party. So this, of course, is pre-COVID. Of course, life is sort of measured pre and post-COVID. Mm-hmm. She said, no one has ever been promoted at a holiday party, but many a person has been fired. So words of warning, but also words that are very true. Yeah,
that is true.
What was that? What was, just out of curiosity, before we get into to these great stories, what was like your first holiday party experience? Anything fun, or even your first few? Like anything just kind of stand out?
Yeah, I was thinking about this. So my very first holiday party was pretty tame. I was working at a company in San Francisco. A great group of people. Just a couple dozen of us went out, for a late night, had a good time. And I feel like in the subsequent years, as the teams kind of expanded and, I went to a new company, they definitely got wilder. And I had very small company, team parties, 10 or 12 people. And I've been to other parties and actually attended a few friends' holiday parties at much larger companies, 50,000 people companies. And those things were usually held by a business unit or a division within the company. And I'll just say, marketers and sales folk know how to have some pretty wild holiday parties. So won't get into the details on those specifically just yet. But yeah, the first few were pretty tame, and then the next few were pretty wild. So and then COVID put everything on kind of pause. There's a reset.
I will never forget my first holiday party. So I was the tender age of 12. Just kidding. I was in my 20s.
Yeah, in corporate.
And I was working for a huge consulting firm. I will not say what name was of that firm. And if you go to my LinkedIn, you will not find it, because it is not on my LinkedIn, because that would age me. And I'll never forget, it's young and just out of school, first job. And no one really gave us any kind of heads up on like how to behave. And it was an open bar. These were back in those days.
Hmm.
And I will never forget one of the people that I worked with, who was a brand new, fresh out of college grad, uh, went up to the head partner of this firm for all of Canada and asked if she would dance. And I think she felt awkward, but she felt like, I don't know, she was very gracious. So she said yes. And he had been drinking a bunch and he decided to give her the old dip in the
Hmm.
dance.
Hmm.
And he had drank so much that he just let her go. And so
Yes.
this
Yes.
poor woman,
Sure.
he did not survive. Um, I don't think he came back next week. I think
No.
that was kind of it. So lots of perils that can happen in the world of holiday parties again.
Yeah.
Something to be cautious of, especially for those who have not experienced holiday parties. But let's let's get started.
Yeah.
Let's
Let's
get to
dive
some of
in.
these stories.
Yeah. So we've got a handful of stories today. We'll call this a supersized episode because we've got more than a couple stories. We've got well, double that actually. So we'll dive right in. The very first story comes to us from a friend, a peer, former peer, and it talks about the challenges of oversharing, oversharing within your team, and to leadership in particular, oversharing to leadership. So diving in, 3 weeks into a new role, an employee at a company holiday party misjudged the open bar and ended up in a long, unfiltered conversation with our CEO. Instead of keeping things light, he launched into a long, unfiltered explanation of how he, quote unquote, still doesn't totally understand what the company does.
Which is usually not a good thing to say to the CEO. It is funny because I've even noticed this at parties that I've been at where people get a little, socially lubricated and feel very, very, very at ease in chatting with the
Yes.
CEO and
Yes.
becoming, speaking as though they were friends and having just
Yes.
friendly conversation.
And often I have seen at least a few times over the years what seems like a casual kind of off the cuff conversation ends up being a, why are we doing this? Let me give you some feedback on how the company is being ran. And it's always from somebody that's has very limited professional experience. But
That is, yeah. From my own days as an executive, that's always been surprising to me is people that come up and say, "Hey, let me tell you how to do your job," and you're like,
yes,
I don't know if that's like the conversation we should be having right now." But
maybe not the
what
best way
happened
to
in this situation?
kick that off. Instead of keeping things light, he launched into a long, unfiltered explanation. Yes, we got that, followed by a critique of the onboarding videos and a sincere, I honestly thought you'd be taller comment.
So
Uh,
let's
hmm,
deep dive on that for a second. So getting away from the holiday party stuff.
yeah,
My favorite game during COVID was How Tall Are You?
yes,
And so if you remember, I mean, Woody, we worked together, but you were hired. I interviewed you during COVID, like
during
we
COVID.
had not met,
Yes,
and it just was my favorite game. Was like because you just couldn't tell. And I know that we both had some surprising moments with some people that turned out to be far taller than we
yeah.
ever imagined.
I was pleasantly surprised to find out that you and I are about the same height, but compared to a lot of our peers and coworkers, we're on the shorter side of things. Well, that was my revelation, and I thought that was surprising. Yes,
Yeah, it was just a fun game, and
it was
especially
a
the
fun
first
game.
time you met people, just just to see how tall they were. Because
Yeah,
again, you had no idea. So anyway,
yeah,
so thought they'd be taller. Let's keep going.
yeah. Um, thought they'd be taller. He kept looping back with more comments, including one about whether people ever do they ever tell you the truth at your level, was the question. The CEO stayed polite, but the next morning, HR held a quick check-in to reset expectations. The employee apologized, kept his job, and avoided alcohol at future events. Yes, this seems like a good
Yeah,
idea.
yeah. I think it's yeah. It's that sort of social lubricant that comes
Yes,
with an open bar. So
yes,
a word of caution to people who are at an event and see the CEO and decide that it is the appropriate time to inform them of what they should be doing and how
yeah.
they should look.
especially if it's one of your first interactions with them, or you don't have a rapport, or it's just that's not a great way to start.
Yeah.
If not just the CEO, just in general, like test the waters, build some relationships. Don't just dive in.
And also don't insult someone on their physical attributes.
Yeah,
That's probably not like a good way to get
that's
things
right.
going.
That's right. That's right. And just to be clear, Dorian, you and we're a solid height. I'm just saying there are some very tall people we've worked with.
And to be honest, Woody, I wasn't going to say anything, but I am a few inches taller than you. So
yeah, I know you are.
I know
you
so
are.
let's
It's true.
let's not insult my type.
I know. I'm on the shorter side. I'll own that.
That's
I'm stocky.
They always say great things come in small packages. Well, in the same vein, I want to get
in my LinkedIn headline.
Oh, that really should be. That's yeah. So one of the other stories that was actually submitted to us by again a peer, I love this one. This one just makes me laugh. So this is a story of again a kind of a new hire. It was a recent grad from college, first job, trying to be impressive. A holiday party that was just a dinner at a Greek restaurant. So not like a big fancy event, but just a nice dinner. And really, kudos to this kid, I guess adult, who was just trying to just be impressive and make an impression on the management of the company he was working with. I assume it was a small company. We don't have those details, but there were 22 people at dinner, and they were at a very long table. I guess probably that was most of the company, so again, pretty small. And there's this thing in Greek restaurants. I don't know if you've ever had it, Woody, but it's called ouzo. Ouzo, it's like this. It's a liqueur. It kind of tastes like licorice. It's kind of an interesting liquor, like liqueur. But I guess one of the big things is just like lighting it on fire. But the challenge is that it's a very clear liquid, and when you light it on fire, you don't get a very dark. You just don't get like a big like fiery flame,
low profile flame. Yeah,
exactly. And so I guess at the end of this meal, this grad, this new hire stood up. He wants to give a little bit of a speech, so he's being very like courageous, and did not realize that while he was talking, his ouzo shot was lit on fire, as was everyone else's at the table. So 22 people with shots that are on fire, and he gives a little bit of a speech. He gives a little bit of a talk.
Sounds like a bad idea. Yes,
this sounds like a terrible idea. Like 22 people at a table with liquor on fire,
open flames.
Yeah. So he went to go shoot it back, not realizing it was on fire, burned his lips, and he threw the shot glass. And so it was full of this like lit ouzo, and it actually set the tablecloth on fire. But everyone freaked out because it was on fire, so they like dropped their shots, and the next thing, the entire table was on fire, and they had to evacuate the restaurant. Well, it didn't burn down, so like the restaurant was fine.
That's good.
But yeah, like literally just they all dropped these glasses and set this table on fire. So big miss.
Yeah, I would say open flames. I mean, we've done various team building events over the years with dangerous objects like throwing axes, and which was a lot of fun, by the way, and other things like that. But yeah, open flames, just in general, in any situation with coworkers, especially 20 plus coworkers.
Yeah,
that's really pushing. It's really pushing your luck.
Yeah, you don't really have any guardrails in that case. It actually reminds me of a party that I was at many years ago, and one of the attendees was out with some people before, did a little bit of pre-drinking, probably didn't eat any food. I don't know. We don't know exactly what they had or did not have. But came into there was this fountain of champagne glasses. And this person thought it'd be super fun to kind of play Jenga and grab one of the glasses. And took one, and literally the entire thing came down like a house of cards. And there was just champagne glasses shattered everywhere.
I feel like I've seen that in a few movies over the years. Yes, to your point, you don't don't play Jenga with stacked glasses, especially those full of beverage. I'm pretty sure proper form is to get the beverage elsewhere and just admire the stack of glasses from
Yeah.
afar.
Yeah, I think generally it's, you wait for someone to come around and give you your
Yes.
glass.
Yes.
But it was amazing because it was like this great party and everyone was happy. And then, you have those moments. There's been many, I'm sure, in your life where
Mm-hmm.
something happens and everything stops. It's almost like, the music stops, everything
Yeah.
stops. Everyone
It's
just
like the record scratch.
Exactly. For those who know what a record is, thank you to Taylor Swift for reintroducing vinyl, um, which is amazing to me that that woman sells like 1 million copies on vinyl, which is pretty amazing.
Yes.
I do have a record player just for record. And I do actually buy records, vinyl.
Good for
My
you. I can't afford them.
You can't. They're very expensive now.
They're very expensive now.
It is. So I remember. So there's a place in San Francisco called Amoeba Records, and you could go there and get like records for like $1. Now it's like $20 for a record. It's insane.
Yeah.
But it is amazing. My 10-year-old, I played a record for him, and he was just like, "Wow, like the sound." Anyway, not a tangent, but like,
should I start buying DVDs again? Should I start stocking up on $1.99 DVDs? They're going to come back.
I still am very upset that I threw away my CD collection. When I moved to the US from Canada, kind of got rid of it, which was kind of a big mistake. But anyway, back to the record scratching.
Yes.
This, being in an event where everyone just kind of is like, what the hell just happened? This was a classic case of the entire fountain shattering, which reminds me of another fountain thing from a holiday event I had one time where, again, and I think, alcohol is the consistent theme here, where a coworker of mine, again, will not name the company or who it was, decided it'd be really fun to go to the chocolate fountain and basically, like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, scoop chocolate and throw it in his mouth.
Yeah. Augustus Gloop.
Augustus, that's right.
Augustus,
that's right. Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. They didn't really like the Johnny Depp one, but the original one, pretty classic.
Yeah.
Pretty classic. Yeah. But it is amazing at a holiday party, the guts to just go literally in front of people and instead of grabbing a marshmallow or a piece of fruit to put the chocolate on, his whole thing, because I actually said something to him, I'm like, hey, what are you doing? And he's like, man, I can't get enough chocolate. I just want to throw it in my mouth. And so he was literally in front of people, just pouring the chocolate in his hand and throwing it back. So
that's gross.
Which gets us to our next story, which is again about people that drink too much. And it's not always just, the new person, right? We always hear the story about like the junior person who gets, has a little bit too much to drink, gets a little bit embarrassing. Like we hear about that all the time. But Woody, maybe you could tell us a little bit about maybe a case of an executive who is the one to shame or to blame.
Yeah. Good change of pace. So in this story, holiday dinner, and this VP is off drinking heavily, getting louder as he moved from table to table. Experienced a few of those myself, but nothing outrageous. Just the kind of belligerent, overly confident small talk. Sounds like it makes everyone just a little uncomfortable.
Which is weird because you kind of expect more from an executive. They have the experience. You can kind of shake off some of the stuff when it's someone that's like a new grad or someone new to the workforce, but someone who's an executive. That's unexpected often.
Yeah, it's unexpected.
Yeah.
But towards the end of the evening, this individual sounds like they went to sit back down, misjudged the distance between themselves and their chair, and fell forward onto a table, knocking over several glasses and sending plates sliding off the edge. No one was hurt, but he got up quickly, brushed himself off, insisted he was fine. It's like a stumble. It's like a classic, maybe slow down stumble.
It's I'm really curious. Like when things flew off the edge, like I wonder if anyone got hit with the It was the
Oh,
liquid or the food. I wonder
doused.
if anyone got
Yeah.
doused.
I don't know. I know. I was thinking about this. I had a very similar experience years ago at a big party where all the tables have been set up with the round top with the little pedestal in the middle, and those things are precarious, and you can put a little weight on them, but as soon as you put your full body weight on them, they don't tend to balance very well. And I remember at a party years ago, somebody sitting on the edge of this table, and the entire thing, not just a couple of plates and glasses, get knocked over, the entire thing flipping up into the air, and they went down with it, and it goes down, rolls 6 feet across the room. It was it was a
What
it was
about
a head turner for sure.
a slingshot, like a slingshot of
Yeah.
plates,
Yeah, it
glasses?
was like something out of an old comedy movie, like a physical comedy movie. You hit the side of the table, the fork shoots off the other side, lands in someone's forehead, 20 feet across the room. It was pretty close to that.
It kind of reminds me. I had heard stories, quote unquote, of an executive who kind of fell prey to the same challenge, but did what we're talking about here pretty consistently.
Mm-hmm.
And his team would nominate a person each time who would basically be like the watcher, would be the manager of the executive to make sure that like things were kept pretty calm, to make sure that things didn't get crazy. But it is always very fascinating to me when it is an executive that does that. It is you kind of expect that after years of experience.
Mm-hmm.
What will be very interesting to see again as we go into this post-COVID world, as holiday parties start again, there is this absence of experience. So if you become a manager, a director, and a executive in the last 5 years, you haven't really had the moments in time to practice.
No.
And so it's
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'll be very interested when we do this episode next year, which I hope we will. It'll be interesting to see if there are new stories that are coming up based on actual parties that are happening now versus things that we look at in retrospect, because there are so many.
Yeah, absolutely.
So many. The story I think we're going to end off on, I love this because I've experienced this. I don't know if you have, but there's the moment where you see people who drink too much at the party. They do something at the party, and that's in itself is something to be sort of commented on.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's those that go home and keep the party going, and they just tend to take some steps that are a little questionable. So this is a case, and again, I've sort of experienced this before. This is a case of the disgruntled employee who sent a drunk company-wide email. And so this one is great. This is a great way to end off this holiday hell episode.
Yeah.
So here it was. This guy had really a tough year, tons of tension with his manager, just was not going well. Like just was just having major challenges. And that happens, right? We know that. And so he left the holiday company party, and he was pretty drunk. Like he drank quite a bit. But the thing is, he kept the party going by himself, and so he kept drinking at home. Never a good idea. You should talk to someone if you find yourself coming home from a party already drunk and you're just by yourself drinking. But anyway, that's a whole different episode. So later that night, he decided he was going to rage email to some of his coworkers, his good friends, his coworkers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he just started writing this email. Again, by the way, if you are angry, do not write and send an email. Send it to yourself. Take a moment. If I ever have a moment where I'm just upset about something and I want to write an email, I write the email, but I put no one in the to line. I don't know about you, Woody, but
put it in something that doesn't have a send button. Put it anywhere. Anything that's going to make it difficult to actually distribute. That should be top of mind. Write it on a napkin. Write it on a piece of paper on your desk. Type it into a local document, but do not open a browser if you can help it.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%. Or if you feel like you absolutely have to have that visceral feeling of like writing an actual email, do it, but
Yeah.
send it to yourself. And then wake up the next morning and figure
Yes.
out how, pat yourself on the back on how happy you are that that email never went out. That would
That's
be
right.
a word of advice. But anyway, this guy, he did not do that. He did not. And so he wrote this just ranting email. It started with an explicit FU, which we
Hmm.
cannot see what F word is. Everyone knows what it is, but per Apple and Spotify, we were only cleared for clean episodes, so we cannot
Hmm.
swear on this, although we have had some swearing in the past, but I apologize, Apple and Spotify, for all that.
Yeah.
But
But worth
anyway,
it.
he wrote this email, and instead of sending it to his coworkers, he was so drunk, he sent it to the entire company. Literally the entire company.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And so uh, he woke up the next morning. Obviously, he was, I mean, I don't know how drunk he was, but he woke up the next morning having not realized that he sent it to the entire company. And I don't know if it was a time zone thing or what, but he woke up just to a ton of replies. Uh, Shockingly hungover and dealing with literally, and I think it was from what I get from this story that was
Yeah.
it was a big company. This was not like a small, it wasn't like a tiny startup.
No.
And so literally he woke up to a ton of responses. Um, and again, not realizing that he had actually sent this email. I had
I
no
don't know
idea he
how
had
you.
sent it.
I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you inadvertently get a company-wide alias into a field unless your alias is named poorly or starts with, all hands or all something, and you thought you were typing to your friend Allison. I have no idea how you. I have no idea how you messed that up.
Or Allison.
Well, yes, exactly. Allison with two L's.
Allison with two L's. Yeah. So it's just a word to the wise of like, we've talked about stories of people doing things at the parties, but the risks do not end when the party ends. They sometimes continue when you get home. And so as we look at sort of the holiday hell stories that can happen, it can continue
That's
from
right.
your own couch. So word to the wise. Word to the wise.
Make good decisions.
Yeah.
Unplug.
Yeah. It kind of, there's always this sort of back and forth of like, should company parties have like, 2 drink max, like 2 drink tickets or whatever it is. And, for those who are, back and forth on this, you read some of these stories and you're like, man, maybe that would have been good for some of these people. Maybe
Well,
that.
and to be fair, been to many a company party where they have a ticket system, and after a certain time, the ticket enforcement kind of goes out the window. I'm just going to take all this home.
Yeah. I've definitely been in many parties where if you know the right person who has the tickets, suddenly the tickets are endless, even though the policy is different. So again, word to the wise, as we move to a world where we hopefully get holiday parties again, because they're fun, they're super fun. Just a word to the wise of like, think about your strategy beforehand. Don't be the person everyone talks about the next day.
Yes.
Because there's always at least one.
Have a buddy system. Have an accountability buddy. Come up with a strategy. Come up with a strategy to keep yourself safe and employed.
Just the big, like, again, like you just don't want to be that person everyone talks about the next day, because
that's right.
People love these stories, and you don't want to be the subject of one of them. So as we move into holiday parties, let's just remember the lessons of the past, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Well, I think that wraps our first holiday hell episode.
It's a good one. Those are some good stories.
Good stories. I'm excited for more. In the new year, I think we've talked about doing the next episode will be Holiday Hangover.
Yes.
So we can talk a little bit about some feelings about going back to work. We're all, I know for me, my kid's going to be off for 2 weeks, so that's going to be my holiday hell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just kidding. I love my job, but 2 weeks is long.
I've got 3 small kids in my house the next 2 weeks too. So
I think
that'll be fun.
That will be the balance of working and having children at home. Although we love them, we love those children. And
Well, maybe next year we'll dig into. I know I've got some great stories. I'm not sure I'm ready to share them yet, but maybe next year get into some of those stories.
I'm super excited. I think in the meantime, if you do have time off during the holidays, there's nothing better. There's nothing more exciting that you can do than catch up on every episode of Under NDA. It's been a wild
Yes.
12 episodes now. I think it's the 12th episode.
We had some great episodes this season. We had some amazing guests. We got into the weeds and some some kind of different industries and professions, and got to hear from the wild world of professional ballet. We got to hear about what building a personal brand around content influence looks like, or influencer content development with Tiff. Yeah, we just had some really great episodes. So absolutely catch up if you haven't listened to them already.
And please do us a favor, share with others. Why should you hog all the fun?
Yeah, it's the season of sharing.
Yes,
season of giving.
this holiday season, give the joy of Under NDA to all of your friends. And with that, we wish you all a happy holiday season, a happy new year, and super excited to get going again in January with all of you.
Absolutely. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everyone.